1, 2, 3, 4. We are five girls separated by geography. We've never met in person, but it's like we're family. Girl stuff is our thoughts and feelings that we want to share with you. So listen as we spill the tea. Drop the mic and do what we do.
Hey, I'm Hannah.
I'm Mel.
And I'm, hey guys.
As you guys can see, we're joined by the fabulous Adam today. And to start it off, Adam, would you like to introduce yourself to the people that are watching the podcast that maybe don't know you?
Well, I am a person who makes reaction videos and I scream at a camera and I cry at the camera and I post on the internet and people watch me. That's what I do. And people apparently like it. So
Yeah, as you mentioned, you scream at a camera and put it on YouTube. What was the idea behind starting your YouTube channel? Like, what made you think I want to start my career as a YouTuber?
So I don't really like the term YouTuber for me because like I'm like when I hear YouTuber, I'm like, like the popular ones, like the ones I used to watch. I'm like, I'm just like a guy who like posts videos, like whatever. But like it is YouTuber. But like when people say, "Oh, you're the YouTuber," I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so." But like when I had like an old channel where I posted like just random videos on my old phone. It was like worst quality ever. I was like, whatever, just posting videos. And then one day I was like, I want to do this seriously. Like, take it. Like, if I want to like make my channel like serious or whatever, I have to make like a catchy name. Like, I have to like rebrand myself so people will like memorize the name and like it'll be easy to remember and whatever. So I came up with Abnormally Adam. I don't know how, but I came up with Abnormally Adam, and then it stuck. And then I still would post just random videos, which would get like what 50 views. Like it was nothing. It was complete trash. It was nothing. And then one day I posted a One Direction reaction video to One Way or Another, and that blew up. And I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know what was going on. Like everyone was just like, "Oh my god, this guy's so funny!" And I was like, "What the hell?" I am a One Direction stan.
As you
And then
should be.
literally, that's One Direction's how it all began for me. Like, let's be honest. Like that's it. Um, and then so I would post like One Direction videos, and like people would watch it. And then one day I was like, I would watch other people do reaction videos because I was like, what's like I had a moment I was like, what's my channel about? Like, what am I doing? Like, what's happening with it? Like, yeah, I'm posting videos, whatever, but like, if there's no consistency, like I'd always struggle to film content. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I'd watch reaction videos on YouTube, and it was all the shows I watched, like Supergirl, Flash, all those shows. And then I was like, oh my god, I can do this. Like, this is fun. Like, I love TV shows. I can let me try react. And I started reacting to Supergirl. I only used to do one show a week, so I'd only do Supergirl. And I started that, and people liked it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then I branched. Then I did like a crossover episode with Flash, and then people liked my Flash reaction. So I'm like, okay, I'll do Flash. And then I started Riverdale, and then from there it's become this whole like the CW is like my brand. Apparently, it's like all the CW, or majority of the CW shows, and then here I am. I just find shows to watch, and people recommend shows, and yeah, here I am on your podcast.
Yeah, the CW shows is actually how I found you like 3 years ago. Um, so I always loved watching people react to stuff, but how did you get into filming your reaction? Like you said you always also loved watching people, but um what was something about showing your reaction to other people? Like did you want them to also get into the shows, or what was like the main like idea behind it?
So with Supergirl, like I never really thought that like I would ever, not that I have the power to do anything, but like people tell me now that like when I watch a show for the first time, like they'll watch my reaction to see if they want to watch it. But like when I first started doing reactions, I started Supergirl because I loved the character on there named Alex. She's gay, and I was like, this is and the storyline of her coming out was like amazing. And I would watch the reactions. I'm like, oh my god, like this is so cool. Like I want to react to the show because of this queer character. And then I just watched it for fun, pretty much. Like I mean, I always watch my shows for fun. Like I wouldn't personally if I didn't have fun reacting to them, because like then what's the point? I have to have at least I have to like the show. But yeah, I just watched it for fun, and then it just became like a thing, and then people just wanted to see me react to all these shows. I'm like, oh my god, like you really want to see me like screaming and like crying and stuff. Like, okay, like I'm down. Didn't think it was gonna happen like this, but it happened. It's crazy. It happened. So yeah.
Yeah, people love them, and you got attention from like multiple casts already, and you started like guest episodes with some of the cast members from like the shows you're watching. How did you get into that and wanting to do that?
Honestly, I think my very first celebrity, no, I shouldn't do that. It did, I guess celebrities. My very first celebrity, I never thought it would ever happen. Like, honestly, I was just like, I'm just a guy who makes videos. Like, who am I? Like, I'm nobody. I'm just like, whatever. But like, for the fact that like the, cast wanted to collab with me is insane. I would always baffle me because I'm like, I'm no one special. I'm a guy who posts videos, whatever. But like my very first one that started it all off was Catherine McNamara from Shadowhunters and Arrow. She was my very first collab I ever did. And like it was, and I knew that she watched my reactions. I knew that some of the cast on the show did, but like, did I ever think the day would come where I'd like actually get to film with her? Because she came to Melbourne for Comic-Con, and I sent a tweet out, and I'm like, hey, and it was so funny because like it was a Friday. I'll never forget. It was a Friday, and I was going to Europe on the Saturday night. So I was like, any chance, if you're free? I was just shooting my shot. I was like, why not? And she saw it, and she's like, yeah, I think I'm free. Come. Come and let's do a club. Oh my god, what? So I was like full freaking out. And like from doing her collab, I ended up doing like other clubs with like the other Shadowhunters casts and from the cast, and then it just became like a thing. And then obviously when the pandemic hit, like I did interviews over Zoom calls and stuff, but like the people I have, like I would never think that they would ever want to do a thing with me. But like the fact that they do and they enjoy like talking to me and like they watch my reactions. Like I had like Roswell, New Mexico. I had Casey Cott, my favorite from Riverdale, which we did like a live stream on Instagram, and I was dying. Everyone knows he's my favorite, right? So I was like dead. And then like I got to do like a whole vlog at over in Europe with the Shadowhunters cast at the convention. So it's just like it just life happens, and then you don't expect it, but like you have to take the opportunities as they come. Yep. It's like from Kat agreeing to do the interview, people see that I'm credible, like oh my god, like they want to do a thing with him, like he's legit, like it's not just some like random, like people like him. So it's crazy to think that they want to collab. So yeah,
from all the like CW shows you mentioned, you now started watching Julie and the Phantoms like a couple months ago. Some people might not know the story how you got into Julie and the Phantoms. Maybe you want to like tell us the beautiful story of how you got to watch the show, what got you into the show.
My favorite story to tell. Everyone who watches me knows this story, but like I love it. I love telling it. It's my favorite. So I was on TikTok. as we are, whatever. So actually before TikTok, people would recommend. So I was like, it was between Teenage Bounty Hunters and Julie and the Phantoms. People were recommending this show to me. And I was like, okay, like I haven't heard anything of Julie and the Phantoms. I'm like, I have no idea what it's about. Like I think I had looked it up, and I'm like, okay, like it's a kid show, like cool, like all right, whatever. But I never thought anything of it. And then I was on TikTok and I saw a clip from episode 7, the chemistry scene between Reggie and Luke, and I was like, what the F? Can I swear on the podcast? Can I say?
You can swear on the podcast. You're allowed to swear. Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, anyways. So I was like, literally my words was like, what the fuck? What is this show? Like, I was like, they're getting close. The boys are cute. What's happening? It was like 10 seconds. But I knew my soul, I'm like, I have to react to this. This is a show, I have to react. Something was telling me to react. They're like, you have to. So I'm like, so the next day, got the episodes, reacted to the first episode, and I was sold on Now or Never. That changed my life. As y'all know.
Yep.
Now or Never.
I mean, like, did you catch the last clip that we posted where Mel asked me Sweaty Luke? I was like, Yes, that's why I watch the show. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, I was just like okay. So I first went to Luke in his arms because I'm like, he has muscles. What the hell? I was like, this boy, and he was just cute. Like he was adorable, cute too. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then we had Alex, and I'm like, okay, he's my favorite. Like I knew straight away from the moment he was on the drums. Like I knew. And then we had Reggie, and he was just so cute. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, what's happening? Kenny knew what he was doing when he made that the first scene. He knew.
Yes.
He knew. That's what I'm saying. He knew.
You knew. Yeah, so people seem to really like the Julian Phantom's episodes. Like you're reacting to them, and they got like a lot of hype. And I want to know, what was your favorite episode to react to?
Oh, that's good. Oh, they're all good. I think my favorite. I think episode. So I had filmed episode 1 to 5, like before I had actually posted episode 1. So I had no idea of the level of like intensity that the fans would enjoy my reaction. So I had no idea. So once I filmed episode 6, I had already posted like the first few episodes, and I knew that people were like crazy for my reaction, which made me more excited. So episode 6, I really was like loving it. And obviously we had like all eyes on me, like Alex was dancing, like it was just like we had finally free episode 6. We had that. It was just like a great episode. But I think maybe episode 7 was my favorite because it had perfect harmony, which was totally unexpected. And then like we had the chemistry scene, we had Edge of Grade. So I think that was one of my favorites. But episode 6 just, I don't know, was just special because I was like, that's when I knew people were like, shit, this guy, they wanted to watch my reaction. They knew, like they loved all these. It was just crazy. But I think episode 6 and 7 were my favorite to film. But they all were good though. Like they were all good. Like they were, I loved them all. But like 6 and 7 and 9 and 8. 6 to 9, like thanks.
Exactly. I have a question. You mentioned that people were recommending the show for you to react to. Does that kind of, is that nerve-wracking in the sense of people want to know your reaction to a specific show rather than you just posting a show that you wanted to watch yourself? Or does it actually kind of give you a little bit more calmness in the sense of, oh, people want to see this, so like they will like the content kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a bit of both because like it depends on how many comments I get for the show. And like with Julian the Phantoms, I would get, it wasn't a lot, but it was like a fair few, it was more than usual. And I'm like, okay, the people are recommending on almost every video, like, react to Julian the Phantoms. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But like, obviously, like, I filmed the first episode first to see if I'm going to like the show. Because if I don't, then obviously I'm not going to post it.
Yeah.
But like, when a lot of people are recommending it, I know they're going to enjoy my reactions. I know that people are going to watch them because the same happened with High School Musical, the series. Like people were recommending that to me after Julie, and I had never seen it. But like, okay, like I know majority are Julie fans, so I'm like they would like that too, and I know I would like it because like it's High School Musical. Who wouldn't like it? Like I loved it.
Yeah.
But like when everyone's commenting and you're like, okay, and then some people do recommend other shows, but like I see it, but I'm like, it depends on if I have time or not. Like lucky when we were in quarantine, I had all the time in the world. I'm like, I had all the shows, let's go. Like I had all the free time. But now it's like hard because now Legacies and Riverdale, my shows are coming back. So I don't have as much time as I usually do. But if the demand's high, I mean, how can I ignore what the people want? So it depends.
Okay, as you know, as of filming this video, season 2 has not been renewed yet. But what were things you would like to see in a season 2 of Julian? When we get it, not if, when.
Yeah. The fact that Netflix hasn't renewed it is a joke at this point. And I just say, like, what are you waiting for? Like, they'll post and I'm like, can you just renew? Like, you're missing out anyway. That's separate thing. But I feel like season 2, I would like to see more backstory with Alex and Reggie. And Owen and I actually spoke about what Alex's like coming out would have been like in our interview. So like I would like to see more of that, of what happens, because like I reckon it would be absolutely heartbreaking. Like it'll ruin my life. Like I'm here for it. I want to see Alex sing more because Owen has a great voice, and I was like hyping him up. I'm like, boy, you have an amazing voice. What the hell? He needs to sing more. I need an Alex and Willie duet. I just need
Yes.
it. I need more Nick because Sasha's great and he's amazing. And Jada, I need more of them too because she can rap. She's amazing. We need more of them too. I just need so many things. I need so many things. I need more Ray and Reggie. I need that. Like there's a lot. There's a lot I want.
I just need a
But, like,
season 2.
literally, like there's just so many like stories that they can do. And I'm like, they just need to just renew it. Like, what are you waiting for? I can't. I'm over Netflix. I hate them. Love you guys.
Yeah, and as a creator, okay, you don't have as much time right now because of lockdown, but as a creator, you want more material to work with for like the viewers, the subscribers of your channel to like watch. And we obviously want to see your reaction to a season 2, but for that we need a season 2. But about like being a creator and being a fandom as well, like being in the whole fandom culture thing, what are like pro and cons that you've like come across?
Oh, interesting. Because I reckon, so I feel like in every fandom, there's always fans that like, and I've spoken about this before, but like a lot of fans, not a lot of fans, I should say, like a minority of the fandom. Sometimes like there's boundaries, and sometimes people can cross them, and like in turn that makes the actors not want to interact as much because they might get weirded out or like they might feel like uncomfortable. And I feel like I feel like it's in every fandom though. Like you can't escape it. There's always going to be those fans that like, are just really out there, but they just, and they could also, the thing is like they could be young, so they might not actually understand the whole like boundary thing. So that's why like I feel like, well, for me as like an older as an old fan, we got to kind of show them that like, there's a line and we can't cross them because we don't want to make them feel uncomfortable or whatever. But like that's in my opinion, that's one of the cons. But like in like the pros, like especially for this fandom, like I love how everybody is so supportive of one another. Like all the artwork, everyone's like with their singing covers, like the dances, like everything. Everyone's just so supportive, and you don't get that often in the fandom. Everyone's always competitive and like trying to outdo one another. But like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, we should all be supporting everybody. Everyone's talented. Like, everyone's doing great. Like, why are we competing? Like, it's just pointless. Like, why? But like, that's what I love about the fandom is that everyone just supports one another. Everyone's talented. But yeah, there's always pros and cons. You can't escape. There's always the fandom's there's never a perfect fandom. There's always going to be the toxic fans. There's always going to be, it's going to happen. Like, it's going to happen, but we just got to remember to be respectful of the whole cast and not make them feel weird or anything. Because, we like seeing them interact, and we like seeing Charlie like pop up and like comment on everyone's TikToks and stuff. Like, we want more of that. So we just have to keep, we can simp, but we simp to quote Cash, we simp, but we simp respectfully. Okay.
I like how you said we want Charlie back. We don't want Charlie back on TikTok. TikTok's a happy place right now. I'm kidding.
He causes violence. He can take a break. It's okay.
He can take a break. We don't need another. I think someone on Cash's live once said like Charmageddon. We survived Charmageddon. I'm like, I don't want a part 2 of Charmageddon. I'm good.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, okay, just don't look at anything for a while.
Especially lately with the content that we're getting, I'm like, please stay away from TikTok. Let me respectfully simp. I don't want you to see it. Just let me do it first.
You're right.
All right. So, although we are called Girl Stuff, we believe that everyone, regardless of, your gender, your experience, whatever, everyone experiences a unique range of just impact that fandom culture has on them. And we wanted to kind of provide, even though it's called Girl Stuff, we want to provide everyone with the ability to have that space to just speak about things that happen to them, advice, all the fun stuff. And that's why we have Adam as one of our first male guests on the podcast. But let's talk about like your journey as a fan. Let's kind of put away the creator side of who Adam is and bring out the fan in him. What kind of started it all? I know you kind of said like One Direction, but like how did that kind of come about? Like for you to get into fandoms in general.
I think so like One Direction I think was my first. Was it my first fandom? I think it was my first fandom, but like TV wise, like TV fandom wise, I think it was. Well, the first show I really watched properly was Supernatural. That was like the first show I was like, obsessed with. It's still my favorite show to this day because I watched it for. If we went 15 years, like I was 15 years of my life. Like I grew up with that show literally. I think that was my first like TV fandom, and then but I don't think it escalated or like got big until maybe Supergirl. When I started doing Supergirl reactions, because like everyone would start following me because of those reactions, because they identify with them and they related and stuff. And then like all the Arrowverse shows, it was just like you just can't, even when I do reactions, I kind of, not that I get thrown into it, but like you get involved because like you want people to watch it, you use the hashtags, like you get passionate about the shows. So then when things don't, when things happen in the shows that you don't really like, you have to like, but for me, I rant about it, a lot of things, especially on Supergirl when like there's not enough representation or whatever, because like as a younger fan, like I wouldn't really notice it because I was younger. But once now I'm educated and I know, like I'm more wiser now. Like when I watch these shows, I see, oh my, okay, like, and because I have people, like I have a voice. Although I'm like up myself, but like people say I have this platform now. It's not a big platform, but it's like a little bit of a platform, and people do listen to what I say, or like they do take what I say on board sometimes. So like having this platform now, and like I'm always, I always try to have, talk about LGBTQ representation, and everything. And if I like don't speak up about it, it's like, I mean, because I notice it all the time now, I'm like, it's weird if I don't talk about it, So like, it's a big problem, and I feel like the TV shows need to do better. And if I can kind of give my voice to give my opinion about it, and like maybe because I know that maybe some of the actors do watch my show, or like the network, some people on the networks might watch my reactions. So if they hear me say it, maybe they'll see there's an issue, or like, not that I could be right or wrong, but like when they might not hear the little voice, the people who don't have as many followers, they might not see their tweets, but they might see my reactions. So it's like, if I can kind of give a voice and just kind of raise the issue, or raise the awareness of it, maybe, not that it could happen, but like, if you don't speak up, nothing is going to happen. So, yeah.
100%. And in terms of like, you mentioned you rant about the things that you either see good or bad about a show. Has that ever have you seen a result of that? Like, have you ever had a fan maybe like come out and tweet you, be like, hey, like, thank you so much for bringing this up? Or someone reach out to be like, hey, we didn't notice that this was happening in the fandom. Thanks for pointing it out. Has that ever happened to you? Like, have you experienced like the other side of putting something out?
Yeah, so an example would be, so my Supergirl reactions. I ship, if anyone watches Supergirl, they know that I ship Supercorp, which is Kara and Lena, and there's been a lot of like queer baiting around this couple, or this non-canon couple, I should say. And like, it's a big issue in the fandom, and like people think that, the Supercorp fans just want Kara and Lena together, but like, and I know that Twitter can be very toxic, so like it's very hard to get your opinion across half the time without it, because you read the tweet but you don't know how the person's saying it, how it's coming across, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're very misconstrued. So I feel like saying it in a video, they can hear what I mean, when I say we don't want Supercorp to happen, we just don't like how the writers are queer baiting, and I try and bring up the issues surrounding that, and how some of the tropes they use, like the color choices, like the song choices they use in the backgrounds, because and especially when some of the songs are similar to like other queer couples in the Arrowverse, it's like very similar. Some of the lines are the same, and it's very hard to get your point across on Twitter because everyone just attacks you, or like everyone just jumps on the bandwagon, like blah 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 blah, and it's just like, oh my god, you're missing the point. Everyone just they don't get the point. So Mike, if I say in the video, maybe they'll understand my point without anybody arguing about it. Or like, I'm not young. I'm just but people have actually in the video said, when I did that video about Supercorp, they were like, oh my God, like now that you've said this and I go back, I realize that it could be taken in this context. Like people who aren't, queer might not realize what they're doing, but once someone points it out in a different perspective, they're like, oh shit, maybe there's a point there, So yeah, I feel like it's the approach, because as I said, Twitter's very toxic. So like it's very hard. Things get misconstrued on there. So I feel like verbally saying it for me is better, because it's, you can't get misconstrued in there. You can hear how I'm saying it, what I mean by it. You just read a tweet, people just take it differently. Just so, it's depends on your approach. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, just going off of that, I feel like if you're doing a video, someone knows who you are too, right? Like, it's not just like, Twitter's can be great, it can be amazing for fandoms, or it can literally break it apart, right? And if you're doing a video, if you say something now, like, now everyone can know exactly what you mean, because they can see your facial reactions, they can see our reactions to what you're saying. There's no way you could take it wrong. Whereas a tweet, it could literally be me tweeting on your account. They wouldn't know. Well, they would, because we probably would tweet differently, but they still wouldn't know. Adam just became Hannah for a day. Who knows? Why not? I'm pretty cool. I'd like to say I'm pretty cool.
Hannah, take over. Let's go.
I'll do it.
Make it.
But like, kind of talking about your like reaction videos, I actually went through your YouTube to see when was the first video you have posted on Abnormally Adam, and it was in 2012.
Oh.
And I was like, holy, like that's what, like 9 years of you posting videos. Obviously
wow. What was it? What's the first video on there?
Oh, I can't remember.
Because I feel like I deleted the cringy ones, but I kept like the One Direction ones and stuff. But like, I don't know. But actually, I don't want to know. Better I don't know. Actually, better I don't know.
Well, all you need to know is it's been since 2012. We're fine. Dates are good. But like, have you had to change anything in the way that you produce the videos, in the way that you speak about specific things throughout the years, because of either, culture changing, like communities changing? How has that process been, in like you adapting to what's happening either in the world around you or you personally in the show? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so filming wise, if you watch my videos from like a few years ago, they're absolute trash, because like I have a ring light now. I never had a ring light before. So the quality of my videos was absolute trash. The angle, when I rewatch them, like the angles were off. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? But by people watch them, I didn't realize how bad they look compared to now. And like, because I film on my iPhone. And I used to have, when I had an iPhone, I think it was like 7 or something, the quality was like shit. But now that I have an iPhone, I got the iPhone 11 so I could get like the pro camera so I could like film better. Because like I do have an actual camera, but it doesn't sync up when I do my screen recording with the episode. It doesn't sync up as well as it does with the iPhone. So like it's easier for me on the iPhone. But yeah, the ring light, definitely my quality looks a lot better. The way I used to film, so I have my pop thing in the background, but like I'd film the other way with like my window in the background, which was like so stupid, because like the
no.
It was terrible. It was terrible. So there's been a lot of like, moving around and like switching up things just to see what looks better. But now I feel like I've gotten it sorted. Like I've got my little selfie stick, which I can put my camera up, so it's like not, the angle is better than what it was. Because like my angle, I think I would put my phone on my bed, on like the end of the bed frame, and like my head was like here, so like I'd sit and my head was like here or something, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like, I'm done. And like now it's like better, like it's, and half the camera's like not even my face. It's so embarrassing. I'm like, I can't believe I posted that to the internet, but that's a thing. But in terms of content, I feel like now, well, obviously in 2015, 2016, I would never really see the issues that I see now with, as I said before, like the LGBTQ representation, like people of color, like I never really noticed it until like the last couple, the last year or two. And now that I have, especially on the Flash, because I love the Flash, and Iris West is my favorite character on the Flash, apart from Barry Allen. But like I notice how they treat Candace and how like they don't give her enough screen time, or like the way they write her character, and like it rubs me the wrong way, because I'm like, I know Candace is like a talent. And I think in Flash, ever since they got a black showrunner for season 6, she got more recognition. Like they gave her an actual storyline. Like this showrunner actually cares about Candace's character. And it's listening to her talk, it's like she's opened the doorway for like all these other black females to like, she paved the way, because she used to get so much hate. All this stuff happened, and like none of her castmates would defend her. Like it was a whole shit show. And now I feel like it's better, but it's not the best. Like it's better to how it was. So like hearing all that and like finding out all this information, like now that I watch Flash and all this stuff, I'm like, no, like you have to give Candace the recognition she deserves, because why? Like it annoys me. And you see all these issues. So obviously as the years go on, my content's more and more highlighting the people of color, because like they deserve so much better, especially Riverdale with Tony Topaz, Vanessa Morgan. Like they would always just have Tony as like a side character and like just Cheryl's girlfriend. And once she spoke up about it, the showrunner was like, okay, we apologize, like we were wrong and stuff. And I'm like, this shouldn't have even happened in the first place. Like, just all this stuff. And I'm like, it's just, so obviously, I'm always trying to hype them up and be like, you have to hype these women up, because it's just, it's not fair. Like, it's disgusting. So obviously as my years go on, I noticed these more and more. So obviously my content's changed in terms of that, and like trying to hype them up and just show people that like, this is what the people want to see. Like none of these straight characters over the straight people, no offense, over the hetero storylines. Like give us some queer stories, like give it to me, like, so it's just, yeah, definitely changed in terms of all that. So it's been, but I'm glad that it's, my content's now like, I'm realizing all this, like over the last few years it's happened. So I'm like, what, we got to highlight these issues, otherwise nothing's ever going to get done. So if I can speak about them, but also fanboy at the same time about them, it's a bit of both. So yeah.
And I mean, like, I think that's, yeah, it's best of both worlds, but it's why I love Julie and the Phantom so much. It's because like, when someone's like, oh, should I watch it? Like, is it really that good? I'm like, well, number one, you've got a Latina girl playing a Latina girl. You've got representation of all color. Like, you've got an openly gay character whose storyline isn't the fact that he's openly gay. Like, that was, I watched Glee. So, like, to me, I was like, Kurt's whole storyline is, oh my God, I'm gay, but no one really likes me because I'm gay. I'm like, that shouldn't be the storyline of a character. He's more than that. So, that's why I like Julie and the Phantoms. And to hear someone else say, it's important that we bring that up, I think it's important in our world, because, we've seen it. If you don't speak up about something, no one's ever going to do anything about it, right? So thank you for doing that on behalf of everyone, because people might not realize until it's being spoken at.
Exactly. Like, it's not even like a thing, like it's the least we can do. Like, it's the bare minimum we can do to speak up about it when you see it. Like, it's not, we shouldn't be praised like, oh my God, you're speaking up. Like, this is what we should be doing anyways. Yeah. Like, this shouldn't even be like an afterthought. You should just be like, no, that's wrong. You can't do that. Like, that's, you call them out. Like, if they're doing it wrong, call them out. Like, it shouldn't even be a thing of you have to think about. No, just call them out. Fuck that.
So. It's, yeah, you're right. And like in the sense of like, having this platform and having the ability to speak out and people considering you as celebrity, like, I mean, we've told you before, like you pop in and we're like, oh my God, it's Adam. Like what? You have that kind of like status. How have you found managing both your personal and your public life? We've talked about boundaries a little bit earlier, but like, how has that been for you personally as a person who just creates content and it happens to be liked by people all around the world?
So like, it's really crazy. So when I was it's really crazy that like, because obviously I don't think of myself as like anyone, like I'm just like, it's just me. But like people, like you said, like, I pop in the group chat and it's like, oh my God, Adam, and I'm like, oh my God, like it's weird. But like the more it happens, the more I get used to it. But like when people want to take like photos with me, like when I was at the, if I go to like, you know, Oz Comic Con, or like when I was at the Shadowhunters convention, like people were like, because they all, you know, a majority would watch, you know, knew me because of my reaction, they love them, so like taking photos with me and stuff, and like it was such a weird like experience, because I'm like, oh my god, like why do you want to take a photo with me, like why, like it's just me, like it was weird, like it was great because like, you know, I got to meet the fans, like it was so good, but like it was weird. I was like, oh my god. But like the more it happened, you kind of get used to it, but it's still, even it's still like to this day, it's still weird because I'm like, oh my god, like people watch me, like it. I just, you know, I posted on YouTube and then I'm like, okay, then I ditch. I'm like, okay, here's a new reaction, like bye, like, and then I'll just like log off for a little bit and just come back on like a few hours later to see how the, you know, how people are finding it. But it's so weird, people coming up to me like, oh, you know, you Adam. I'm like, I remember once, I was in a McDonald's in Rome, of all places. I don't know why I was in McDonald's, but I was in McDonald's. I wanted chips or whatever. But like, I was hungry.
McDonald's
Anyway.
is great. Don't bash on McDonald's. We love McDonald's.
It was like 11:30 p.m. at night. It was like late. And I'm like, I'm hungry. I want Macca's. So I was like, got McDonald's. And as I was ordering on the self-serve thing, the self-checkout thing, this person taps me on the shoulder and I'm like, hi. And she's like, are you Adam from YouTube? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I'm normally Adam. I'm like, yeah, that's weird. She's like, oh my god, I love your videos. And I'm like, oh my god, what are the odds in like this random McDonald's? Like, what are the chances? I looked like trash. I was like, this is not. I'm like, but that's cool. Like it was just, you just random places. I was like, okay, like it was so random, but like, oh, it's
Yeah, we had Alex from Target. Now you're Adam from YouTube. Stuff
Yeah.
happens.
Like I didn't think I was like that like popular. I'm like, you know, yeah, I have followers, but like for someone to come up to me like, oh my god, I love your videos. I'm like, oh really? Like it's cool, but I'm like, oh, like you don't get used to it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's different when it's online versus real life, because I'm like, oh, okay. Like it's very, very interesting. It's a good feeling, but it's weird. But I love it.
And like in
I
the
told you
sense of,
before-
go ahead, Mel. Sorry.
I just said, I told you before, Adam, you're hot shit.
Thank you. I try, you know. Every day I'll do hot girl shit, like, you know.
As
That's
you
my brand.
should. As you should. I mean, like, I'm here for it. Like, keep going. But like in the sense of like, you know, people keep pushing those boundaries of like, you know, you as a celebrity versus you as a person. How has that been for you? Have you experienced anything that's kind of caused you to be like, ooh, I'm a little uncomfortable, or like, ooh, maybe, you know, don't try to come into my personal life? Like, have you had that, especially like because you're very well known from the YouTube and like Comic Con and stuff like that? Like, have you had any experiences where you're like, stay away, like, don't come here, my personal bubble?
I feel like I'm very lucky to not have experienced anything uncomfortable yet, touch wood, but like
Touching wood for you, don't worry.
yeah, literally, I'm like so far it's been like everyone's been pretty like good. Like I don't think I've had like a very bad experience that I can remember. Which I'm very grateful for, because like obviously I'm not that well known, so it's not like I don't know if I even want to get to that stage where like people like, you know, send me, you know, weird things. Like I mean, people, yeah, they DM me saying, ask me, you know, actually maybe the only thing really would be like people asking me favors, because like I know like celebrity, or not that I know, but like, you know, I've interacted with celebrities, like I've done a video with them. They'll ask me to like, so like people will ask me to send stuff to Charlie. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, like don't ask me to do shit. Like I get weird when people ask me to do favors if I'm not like, if they just pop in random, if I don't know them, and they just pop in my DMs like, hey. I'm like, no, like, no, I didn't read the message, obviously. I'll, you know, I won't read it, but like, it comes up and I'll have a look, and I'm like, no, like, that's probably the only thing really. Like, don't ask me to do favors just because I've done a collab with Charlie or Owen or whoever. It doesn't mean I'm best friends with them. Like, yeah, we like DM sometimes, but like, we're not like, I'm not going to send them like, or get them to do a happy birthday thing. Like, I'm not going to ask them, like, it's weird. I don't know. I just don't want to, I don't know. It's weird for me. I'm like, no, remember there's boundaries, you know, like, let's not use me to get to them. Like the same with Maddie. Like let's not use Maddie to get to the boys. Like let's just, you know, stay in your lane. I guess, you know. I guess that's the only thing really that annoys me. But other than that, it's been pretty. okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, bridging has been such a heavy topic, especially in our fandom, and I'm not sure why it's in our fandom. I don't know, maybe it's like, you mentioned the cast was very interactive with us, and it might be that, but yeah, don't hop into Adam's DMs and tell him to send your stuff to anyone. We're not doing that. We're done. But speaking about Charlie and Owen, I want to, cause some violence. Who was better to interview? I'm just gonna cause some violence here for a hot second.
Oh yeah. Um, they're both amazing. Honestly, I was like nervous, obviously, like I was nervous. But like once like we started the Zoom calls, like they're just super chill, so down to earth. And they're just really beautiful people. Like they have the best personalities. They're just Owen is so precious when I tell you. Like him like showing me his air humidifier, I'm like, bless your soul. Like, bless your soul. He's like, isn't that lovely? Like I love him. Like they're even and Charlie, like he just loves I feel like Charlie loves the fans. This question is sending me. Ella did.
I like to cause violence.
Yeah, we love violence. Come on. Wait, when is this episode coming out? When's this episode coming out? What day?
This episode.
We don't know.
No, we
Or
do
do
know.
we?
We do know. Yeah, yeah. This will come out on the 24th of February.
Oh, okay, so my Owen Club will be out by then. Okay. Okay, because I'm okay, cool. I
Oh.
was gonna
Are you gonna spill some tea?
Did I tell you what I got Owen? Like what gift I got him? But you can't tell anybody. I think you guys do you
We
have
both know.
We
you
know, but the other three girls don't know, so we won't post this. This is off the record. Oh no, well it could
off
be.
the by the time this episode comes out, my interview will be out, so like it's okay. Like if something happens, then you can cut it. But otherwise, you keep it in. But
Okay.
I got Owen a goat. But like, you should have his face was like it was so like Anthony from Sunset Drive. We were FaceTiming, and I was like, I was telling him I was like, so I did a TikTok where I'm like, I promised I want to go if you ever did a collab. Never thought it would happen, then it happened. I'm like, I have to I want to keep my promise, but like, I don't want to actually buy him a goat. Like, I can't physically buy him a goat. And we were like thinking about, like sponsoring and adopting a goat. And then we were looking through like all these goats, and I'm like, and Ruby Tuesday just like spoke to us. So I'm like, you know what? And the name Ruby Tuesday, like Ruby T, like is everything. I'm like, he will love this. He will love this. And when I showed him, he was like, his face was just so shocked.
That's incredible.
He's like, I can frame it. He's gonna put it. I think he's gonna hang it up on his house somewhere, like in his apartment. I showed Owen Mel's phone case as I showed him, and he just like Charlie did. I love that for you. Come, I feel to see you, Mel. What was the question? I just get sidetracked?
The question was which one you liked filming with more, Charlie or Owen? But you kind of just like. You started simping over Owen, so I have a feeling,
So yeah, I was more nervous for Owen because I simp over Owen a lot, and like as I said, like, I thought it would be funny to wear the simp jumper, like when I did the thing with him, like I thought it'd be hilarious. But like I think no, like both of them, like I can't choose because like both of them were honestly amazing. Like I couldn't choose. Like they're just both amazing people. They're just so easy to talk to. Their personalities are great. But like me and Owen, I feel like we have the same personality. And like I was just like he was still telling me his favorite Broadway song, and I'm like, oh my god, that's mine too. Like we had so many similarities, it was ridiculous. I'm like, we are literally the same person. So I was like, but both of them are like, but Charlie is just like a goofball. Like I love him. He's such a goofball. Like he's great. Like it's Charlie. Like they're both great. They're both great.
They're
like,
both
you
great.
can't choose. They're both good.
We're just gonna post like the question and see what people will say, and then we'll just wreak havoc on Instagram. That's what we'll do.
This is why we work.
This is why we work. But we're just gonna bring it back. I just wanted to sidetrack with that because you started speaking about the boys. But in your last Instagram post of 2020, you kind of said that despite how 2020 was, you managed to do some incredible things. So what was one thing you learned about yourself in 2020 that you're bringing into 2021?
I feel like it's gonna sound so cringe, but no, that's not cringe actually. I feel like in lockdown, when I was like, inside like I would go to work and I come home and like whatever. I feel like spending time with myself and like no one else, I was like, I learned, it was weird because like I kind of learned to love myself in quarantine. That sounds weird, but like, you know, I don't know, it was just, you know, I would watch my shows, like I do my videos, like I was like focusing on me, and it wasn't like about anybody else. Like I was, you know, working on myself and like, you know, being happy and stuff. And it was because obviously it's hard, like you're not, you don't get to see your friends. Like, yeah, you can do Zoom calls and stuff, but it's not the same. Like it's not the same as, you know, the car rides and like, you know, going out to restaurants and stuff. It's not the same. And like, you know, I go to work, I come home and I'm like, okay, like, so then I'm lucky. That's why I would post so much content, because like doing the videos, like, and you know, reacting to Julie and like all the other shows I was doing, like it made me happy. And like, I don't know, it's weird. Just spending time with yourself is just so important. Like people think, oh, you know, because you're alone. And there was this quote from Teenage Bounty Hunters that I was like, oh my god, this is like, it was like accurate to my life. One of the girls had just broken up with her boyfriend because like they had been together since like kindergarten or something. They were always together. And they were like high school lovers or whatever. And they broke up, and she was like, I realized that like I can be alone, but without being lonely. And I'm like, that is so true. Like it doesn't mean if you're alone you're lonely. It doesn't mean that. Like you can be happy and you can be alone. Like, you just gotta learn to enjoy your own company. So I feel like in 2020, that's what I learned. I learned to enjoy my own company, which is why, yeah, that's what I learned.
That's awesome. What's your Enneagram type? Have you ever done that test to see
The what? Sorry.
your Enneagram? Like type
No, I
1
haven't.
to 9. Okay. When this is done, you should do it and tell me which one
Okay.
you are. I think you're a
Okay.
7 because you seem like an extrovert, but like you're okay with being alone. You know,
Yeah, I
physically.
feel like that could. I think. Yeah, I feel like I'm a bit of. Yeah, I'm more. I think I'm a more introvert, but like, yeah, you're right. Like I do like going out and stuff, but like I also like being like, you know, being alone, I
Yeah.
guess.
I'll send
Yeah,
you the I'll send
probably
you the
type
link.
7.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, similarly.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah. All right. So, just like in terms of next steps, you know, what's in store? Do you want to continue making reaction videos? Are you wanting to venture into something new? You've kind of started doing like more like music reaction videos as well as shows, you know, lately specifically, but I think it's also quarantine that's like, I just need content, which I totally get. But,
Yeah.
you know, what's your dream and like where you want to take Abnormally Adam, given like this is the situation we're in now?
Well, so last year, if the Rona didn't happen, I was planning to go to America. I was going to go to San Diego Comic Con and like interview people. Like I had like, all these plans. Then obviously they all fell through. So like I was like, okay, so like the Zoom calls we'll have to do. Like it's, you know, it's cool, whatever. But like I feel like I enjoy doing interviews with people. Like I enjoy like, you know, talking to like a guest or something. Like I enjoy all that stuff. But like I also enjoy doing my reactions because like, you know, they're crazy and like it just depends on like what shows. And like I remember I used to do like 7 shows a week, or like it was like Monday to Friday. It was like crazy. But now when all the shows went on hiatus after you know, during COVID, and I would just focus on one show for like a few weeks, and I would like focus on that, and then like I would go and you know, do the next show. Like it depends. Like and I liked doing that because when I had my schedule, like wasn't a lot of, it's not like it was pressure, but like for example, this week, like Monday was Batwoman, then like Thursday was Riverdale, Friday was Legacy. So I have a set schedule. If I don't keep up with the schedule, I'll get behind because the episodes come out the next week, new ones. So it's like I have to like be very like, you know,
On time.
and yeah, on time, exactly. So like, but when I was just doing it in my own time, like when I was doing Julie and Teenage Bounty Hunters and like Healing Eve, like I filmed on my days off and I would edit, you know, when I got home from work. So I had like, you know, it was like, there was no pressure. I just did it when I had time and like, you know, I had things planned out. So like, I liked that aspect. So like, Riverdale and Legacy is like 2 of my favorite shows to react to. So like, I'm not giving them up anytime soon. But like, when like Flash and everything comes back, like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like how it's gonna go. We'll see. But it just depends. Like the channel has to go at some point, but like now that I've done a lot of or like more interviews with like, you know, celebrities and like people from the TV shows, like I'd like to kind of do more of that, but at the same time, like, I don't want to give up the reactions. But like we're just gonna have to kind of change up and just see what happens. I guess in the next couple of months, we're just gonna see. I guess so. Hopefully, more collabs. Hopefully, we'll see.
It's true, if time allows. So you mentioned Legacies. So another fun question for you, because you've watched Legacies means you've watched The Vampire Diaries. So are you Team Stefan or are you Team Damon? Or are you Team Catherine? Like Klaus, who's your team? What team are you on?
I think what was I? Season 1, I was Team Stefan,
Okay.
but then I became a Doreen shipper. So like, yeah, let's say Team Catherine. But like, Catherine's a badass. We love her. We love to hate her. Like, Nina is a queen. Yeah, Elena pissed me off at sometimes, but Catherine, was like the perfect villain. Like, Catherine and Kai, I stand so hard. They are my favorite villains pretty much of all time because they're just iconic. But no, I think Team Damon in like the later half of the season of the series. Well, I was Team Stefan because I really did like Stelline. I really did. But yeah, Damon became, because Damon was an asshole in season 1, and then he got like better.
Yeah.
Because we love character development.
We do, honestly. And it's crazy
So
because
yeah, it was.
and it's crazy because like
Yeah.
Nina and Paul like both played multiple characters on the show, and they were all very different. So it's like watching them I was like, I love rewatching Vampire Diaries. The original just makes me cry. So whenever I want to cry, I watch that.
I know, this is so sad. Like, I can't. I love Klaus though, but like, low key, do y'all think Caroline should have been Endgame? Do we like Klaus and Caroline?
Yes. Yes.
Because I can rant about that.
She ended up with Alaric out of all people. Klaus is Caroline is Endgame. I don't care what anyone says.
That was just everything. Like, honestly, I couldn't give two shits about Alaric at this point. But like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But like, Caroline. Also, can we talk about how Bonnie Bennett deserved so much better than what Julie Plec gave her?
Yes.
Because when I first watched the show, like I wasn't like aware of anything, whatever. But now when you rewatch it and you see how they did my girl Bonnie, she saved all their asses. I can rant for this for ages. She saved all their asses time and time again, and no one was fucking grateful for her. And then, spoiler alert, if no one's watched Vampire Diaries, stop watching this video.
Honestly.
Y'all know what I'm gonna say, right?
I know you're gonna say it.
They killed off Enzo when they were gonna be so happy together. Like, for what? Like, what is the reason? Literally, what was the reason?
Like, he did not need to die. She deserved, though, to be honest, Bonnie and Kai would have been super cute if Kai wasn't just like a mental, we need to reevaluate Kai, but they would have been cute.
She was robbed, and my girl was robbed. That's what I can say.
Honestly.
She was my favorite. Like, I love her. And she couldn't just, everyone had the happy ending except for her, Yeah. Like, yes, Stefan died and Caroline was like left, but she was fine. She had Klaus, kind of, not really. He died too, but like, it's fine. That's what I'm saying.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, like, so wait, I have a question for you because we're on a tangent, and I love this tangent because I miss Vampire Diaries. But you know how there's a big theory that like, oh, Bonnie broke the spell that Kai put on Elena, and that's how she like woke up. Do you think that theory is true, or do you have another theory for why Elena woke up when she woke up at the end of the show?
What's that? So I can't remember what happened. Did she wake up because she found a way Kai told her how to break the spell, right? Or he like showed her how? Or
no, so from what we know is Bonnie finally figured out how to do magic. I have my own theory, but I want to know your theory first before I put my theory in.
Yeah, because she figured out how to wake her up, right? That's how it was. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Or was it because did Bonnie die for like a millisecond and then that broke the spell? And because once Bonnie died, Elena would wake up. So because Bonnie died for like that split second, that woke Elena up. But then Bonnie came back to life. Like they brought her back. So like that split second, that's what I thought. That's my theory. Because she died for that split second. So maybe maybe.
I always thought it was Elena's life was actually tied to Stefan's because Stefan's a vampire, so he would have never died, technically speaking. So I was like, because she woke up right when like Damon and Caroline were saying like goodbye to Stefan, in the thing. They wouldn't have said goodbye months later on, right? Because it would have just been, oh, he's visiting Stefan. No, he was saying goodbye. So my theory, and people can tell me if they believe it, I think it's her life was actually tied to Stefan's. That's why she saw Stefan before he went, and he saw what's her name? His best friend.
Oh,
Okay.
oh my God, Lexi.
Lexi.
Wait, she shouldn't have died. I love her.
They did
She's
her
nice.
dirty. I loved her.
She's a dirty man. I never forgave Damon for that, low key. Did not forgive. I'm not gonna lie.
He had no reason.
But
was just
Matt Donovan somehow stayed alive for I don't know how many seasons now.
Maddie, can we not talk about Maddie?
Started. Trash. I hate. He was useless. Why did Julie Plec think he was the golden child? He was trash. Sorry, I said what I said.
He was good in like season 2 or 3. The one when he and Caroline were dating, like he was nice. I liked him then. But then he was like, I was like, you can die now.
Like he wasn't bad. Like he just didn't bring anything to the show. And I feel like the part where like he got possessed by like, was it the Travelers or something?
Yes.
Someone possessed him. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Matt has a story. This is interesting. But then he was fine in like 2 episodes. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He was useless. He did nothing. He got nothing to the show.
And the fact that he's in Legacies, I'm like, bro, do you not just die? Like,
I'm like, okay. Like he was there for like 1 episode. I'm like, thank God. Like goodbye. Like I don't care. Like it was nice to see him, but like I want to see Caroline. Okay, I want to see her and Josie. I want to see them all. So I need her back. Thanks.
Yes, 100%. All right. And our last question for you is, if someone wanted to start up their own YouTube channel, what would be your advice to them as someone who does create YouTube videos?
My advice, when I get asked this, I always say, be yourself. Because if you're not yourself, people aren't going to believe what you're putting out there. Because like people can tell when you're being fake or when you're not giving it your all. Like people know. Like I mean, I can see when people okay, like this person's not giving 100% or like it's no like why are we faking a reaction or whatever? Like well for reactions, like why are we faking it? Like just be yourself. Like and people. When I do mine, like when I watch it, I literally am screaming. Like that's literally what I do. I'm like something happens, I'll scream, like I'll cry. I'm surprised my family hasn't like disowned me at this point. But like, be yourself. First of all, know what content you want to put out. Make your channel, but like you have to know what you're gonna be doing. Like for me, like it took me a while to figure out I wanted to do reaction videos, to TV shows, and I would just post whatever. But like, if you know what content you want, and you can work on how to like do that. But if you don't know what you're doing or what videos you want to do, you'll struggle with content every week because like you have to put and you have to be consistent as well. Because if you post something and then not post anything for like a couple of weeks or like a month, people are going to lose interest and they're going to like move on to somebody else or like watch someone else because you're taking too long or whatever. But like also do your own pace, but you have to keep in mind you've got to kind of be consistent so people know when to expect content. But like also don't feel pressured to like please everybody. Like if you're not feeling it, don't do it. Like do it when you're good, but you have to be ready to, people are going to ask for things. You got to be ready for that. But yeah, that would be my advice. Just be yourself and know your content and be consistent, and yeah, people will love you no matter what, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to just hang out with us. We had a laugh, we ranted, we vented. It's been fun. And like, thanks so much. If anyone doesn't know Adam, we're leaving his content and links below. So make sure to check out his stuff.
And that's girl stuff.